Imagine, just for a second, that organizing reality is actually one of the absolute most important ideas in modern life. We live in a world completely overflowing with inputs, and honestly, the sheer volume of it all can feel incredibly overwhelming. But what if the problem isn't the amount of information we have? What if the real secret to mastering our work, our decisions, and our lives lies entirely in how we contain it? In today's Explainer, we're diving into a brilliant framework from the book Holding the World in Python. And trust me, by the time we wrap this up, you aren't just going to see data structures differently, you're going to see the organization of your entire digital life in a totally new light. I want you to picture a large, totally empty table. Now imagine placing a single, loose index card right in the very center. On that card is written just one thing: names. Simple enough, right? It's easy to manage, it's easy to find, and it makes total sense. But, as we all know, life doesn't stay that simple for very long. The table starts to fill up. You add another card, and then another. Suddenly, you've got loose cards for tasks, for expenses. You just kind of drop them onto the table, and that initial neatness, well, it begins to slip away. Then things really speed up. Reminders, scores, appointments, ideas, questions. Just think about your own digital life right now for a second. Think about your notes apps, your unread emails, your folders of downloaded files. Imagine hundreds of these cards piling up, then thousands. They're overlapping, spilling right off the edges, and totally bearing the things you actually need to find. So what is the actual problem here? Is it the information, or is it the missing structure? That right there cuts to the heart of why so many of us feel chronically overwhelmed. You see, the problem is no longer the information itself. The information is highly valuable. The problem is that it doesn't have a home. People don't struggle because information is missing. People struggle because information is scattered everywhere. And finding it, understanding it, trusting it, that becomes literally impossible without a proper home. Section 1. One value to many. Okay, let's dive into this. We really need to make a massive mental shift from holding isolated pieces of information to holding organized systems. Think of a single variable, like a single note played on a piano. It remembers one thing. It's beautiful, sure, but it's totally isolated. Real life, however, requires a purposeful home for related groups of information. A collection remembers a group. It basically takes all those scattered cards off the messy table and gives them a meaningful container. This isn't just some abstract coding concept. It's a fundamental human survival skill for the modern digital age. Section 2. The 4 big questions. Before we even think about touching a keyboard or typing a single line of code, we have to ask human questions. The author brilliantly distills how we organize reality down to 4 big questions that our minds naturally use to categorize the world. Question number 1. Does order matter? Think about your morning routine, a recipe, or the steps in a reading plan. The sequence itself is what gives the information its meaning. If you scramble the steps of baking a cake, you don't get a cake, you get a huge mess in your kitchen. Order contains meaning. Question number 2. Do labels matter? Sometimes the position of something means absolutely nothing, but the name means everything. When you look up a friend in your phone's contacts, you don't care if they happen to be the 47th person on the list. You just need to ask, what is the specific phone number that belongs to this specific name? Question number 3. Should it stay fixed? Is this information a stable bundle that needs to travel together without ever being accidentally reshaped? Think of a plane ticket or geographic coordinates on a map. You definitely don't want those values changing while they're moving through a system. They absolutely need to be steady and reliable. And question number 4. Should duplicates disappear? Say you're making a list of the unique tags used on a blog. You really don't care if the word Python was used 50 different times. You only care that it was used at all. You want to ignore the noise of all that repetition and focus purely on unique belonging. Section 3. The containers of life. These 4 human questions directly map to what we can call the containers of life. Python answers these questions not with scary, complicated syntax, but with really beautiful, intuitive mental models. First up, we have the list. When the answer to does order matter is a big yes, a list acts as a physical, ordered shelf. It's a changeable container where the sequence itself contains the meaning. You can add things to the end, pull things from the middle, but that left-to-right order is always preserved. It literally saves us from the chaos of the pile. Next, we have the dictionary. When we answer yes to do labels matter, we reach for a dictionary. Think of these as labeled rooms for meaningful information. We aren't asking what's sitting over in position 3 anymore. We're asking what value specifically belongs to this exact label. It completely changes how we search for truth in our data.
When you think about a simple two-column format, it grounds abstract information right back into reality. Think of it kind of like a student data card. You have the label on the left, the key, and the fact on the right, which is the value. Name connects to the student's actual name. Score connects directly to their grade. It gives facts a clear, identifiable name so they are never, ever lost in the crowd.
Then we have the tuple. When we need information to stay firmly fixed, tuples are our sealed packets. They're exactly like travel tickets. And honestly, this is an immense relief for anyone organizing data, because a tuple makes a concrete promise. The shape of this record is going to stay steady. It won't accidentally grow or shrink while you aren't looking. The pieces travel safely together as one stable unit.
Finally, we have the set. When duplicates need to completely disappear, we use a set. Imagine it as a duplicate refusing bowl. If you toss 3 identical cards into this bowl, only one remains. It filters out all the clutter, allowing us to care only about unique belonging and membership. It cuts right through the noise of repetition.
Section 4. Organizing your reality.
So how do we take these beautiful mental models, these shelves, rooms, tickets, and bowls, and actually use them to navigate modern life? Let's see how this builds into a really safe professional sequence. This is exactly how you organize your thoughts before you ever write a piece of code or build a system. Step 1. Name the real-world problem. What are you actually trying to solve here? Step 2. Divide the problem into smaller, bite-sized meanings. And step 3. Choose the container based on the exact questions we just walked through. Doesn't need order, a label, stability, uniqueness. When you follow those steps, something pretty magical happens. Coding is no longer this intimidating, gate-kept theater. It becomes explicit, highly organized thought. As the author points out, Python matters because it literally turns reasoning into process. You take your logical, human intention, you place it securely into the right container, and suddenly your reasoning is durable, repeatable, and crystal clear.
I really want you to let this verse from the book sink in for a second. A shelf, a label, a sealed card, a circle, clean and small, not one of them is magic, but each can hold a world. These aren't just dry technical terms. They are deeply elegant ways of holding on to reality so that our minds don't have to carry the entire heavy burden of the world all at once.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is this. Organizing data, whether you're doing it in Python, scribbling in your notebook, or just arranging things in your own head, is actually about deciding what matters. Are you prioritizing the sequence, the label, the stability, or the uniqueness? What question will your mind ask before your hands choose a structure to hold your world?